Okay, David, ergonomics-wise, if you're reading a magazine, you fold things over. If you're reading a book, you have the spine down the center. A lot of continual usage of devices like smartphones, tablets causes fatigue in one way or another. How does our tablet differentiate from that?
Well, if you look at every single tablet on the market, they pretty much look like this, right? Flat, and yeah, that's what it is. Now, what our engineers looked at was this wraparound design that you just mentioned in terms of the magazine. So you can see that it has this wraparound. Well, don't try to open it because it's not a flat, right? But all the heavy parts are on this one side, and it's just supernatural that if you put it into the palm of your hand, all the weight is right here where the strength is, or where it's best held. So this side of the tablet becomes virtually weightless. So you don't need to go to the gym every day unless you want to. If you want to read a magazine, if you want to read an ebook that we might have put on you from the Sony Reader Store. So that's where it goes. Obviously, Android is smart enough to tilt the screen whether you're left-handed or right-handed, but you don't need to keep switching hands or hold it with both, which we typically see on all the other tablet users.
Okay, David, so how to benefit from tips and tricks that the tablet has to offer that we wouldn't necessarily take for granted?
Well, first of all, to me, a straightforward standard SD card reader comes very handy. You get a file, for example, from a friend or whatever, you just plug it in, you will automatically get file transfer, and you can import whatever file or even launch files straight from SD card. Next beneficial thing to me is the mini USB connector that supports USB host. That means you can even connect, for example, a CyberShot still camera. You can take just a USB memory card, plug it in, and will also allow data transfer straight to the device without the need of putting a PC in the middle. It does have stereo speakers built in. That means you can listen to music while you're browsing the web, and it also has a headset connector or a headphone connector, a triple pin. That means you can both have a headset as well as a microphone. So if you want to do that Skype call that you mentioned in an earlier question, then you can do that straight away. You don't need any extra additional devices.
Fantastic. Anything else that we would be sort of keen to be aware of with regards resolution or brightness, or things that we should basically do to preserve battery life? Or
well, I think one of the most important things is the camera. It's a 5-megapixel camera, but let's not just talk about resolution because that's just a number. But we're using Exmor mobile technology. It's a Sony technology for image improvement. Now, we've done some tests, for example, with barcode scanning applications, and we found that this is the fastest tablet there is to actually, or even from a smartphone comparison, to identify a barcode, to zoom in on it, take a picture, and then, for example, do a web research to find out what kind of price it is, or sorry, what kind of product it is, so you can do a price research. That means you can stand in a shop, take a picture of the barcode, it will do an online search, and you can then compare if you might be able to buy it at a cheaper price online.
Okay. And then what about firmware? Firmware updates, are they over the air, or do you get a notification that there is new firmware, or how does somebody go about keeping the tablet readily up to date?
Well, there's the two sides. One is the operating system. That's sort of a firmware update that you'll be notified, which will be over the air. And then, of course, for each and every application that you add to this one or the pre-installed apps, once you go to the market, it will also tell you here, there are certain updates. But both of it will be done through the air. No need for SD cards or to bring it into any station.
Okay. And then with regards to taking photographs, do you actually have a screen to show you the preview of the picture, or if you're actually having a video conference, are you able to see yourself as well as the person that you're talking to?
Absolutely. You can have this typical dual view that you also know from your PC.
Right. Okay, David, when we're watching a movie, one of the things that we regularly have to do is take a break to go off somewhere else or do something else. Coming back to the movie, especially if we've actually stopped it, becomes more difficult. Some media programs we have to sort of click on a little icon, drag a time bar, and sort of try and work out where we are. Tablet does it differently. What does it do?
What it does is I open the video player, I purchased Tron, the movie, from Video Unlimited. Now, I did have to interrupt it when I received a call. To be honest, I have no idea at what minute I stopped, so dragging the timeliner will take me forever. What we have is a scene search icon, which ultimately gives me screenshots or basically thumbnails from the different scenes. Now we can go by 15, 30 seconds, 1 to 5 minutes, or if it supports chapter, now I can browse through the different thumbnails of the scene. Once it comes to a stop and it loads the scene, you will actually see a thumbnail preview in just a second. So it's actually showing me that part of the movie. If I say, no, I need to skip further away, I can change the different, well, the elapsing time. Now if I see, this is the scene that I want, just tap on it, and it will jump to that scene, so much more convenient than dragging that little timeliner.
So that's the same as the DVD initial front screens or scene selection screens, but this way you can do it with movies that you have downloaded, as opposed to obviously having a physical DVD device inserted into a machine.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. Thank you.